That same year, 1954, Bill Holden appeared in another massive hit, The Country Girl. His co-star was Grace Kelly, who received an Academy Award for her performance.
If I tell him he's magnificent, he says I'm not being honest. If I tell him he's not magnificent, he says I don't love him.
Why don't you tell him he's good but can be better?
Is that what the critics will tell him?
Are you a critic or a wife?
Let's say I try in my small way to help.
That's what my ex-wife used to keep reminding me of, tearfully. She had a theory that behind every great man there was a great woman. She also was thoroughly convinced that she was great, and that all I needed to qualify was guidance on her part.
There are certain films which affected him a great deal. Films where there was actually something of value to be obtained that had something to do with reality, but mostly dealing with other actors who had tremendous talent and had tremendous energy. He felt that it improved his performance.
You can't believe that a woman is crazy out of her mind to live alone in one room by herself.
Listen to me, listen to me.
Why are you holding me? I said you're holding me.
Bill Holden's growing public was now ready for a change of pace. It came the same year with Billy Wilder's Sabrina. Co-starring with Bill was Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, Sabrina, Sabrina, where have you been all my life?
Right over the garage.
Right over my car. Right up in that tree. What a fool I was.
What a crush I had on you.
I'm convinced, someplace, that there are some people born with a gene that has magic for them as far as the screen's concerned. They click, they just make contact with that screen, and Bill had the gene in spades.
What's the matter, darling? You're not worried about us, are you? Because I'm not. So there'll be a big stink in the family, so who cares?
David, I don't think I'm going to have dinner with Linus. I don't want to go out with him.
Why not?
I want to be near you.
Oh, I know how you feel, Sabrina. It must be an awful bore. But if Linus wants to take you out, let's be nice about it. It's very important. He's our only ally. Don't you see, Father will try to cut off my allowance and send me off to Larrabee Copper in Butte, Montana. And we don't want to go to Butte, Montana, do we?
Hold me close, David.
They finished what they had to do with Holden on Sabrina. They finished at 6 o'clock in the evening, and at 7 o'clock, Bill was on an airplane on his way to Japan.
He said it's a crazy business, but he said, what other business would a fellow like Bill Holden find a aircraft carrier waiting for him to come in a helicopter off of Korea while they were doing bridges of Tokarev.
The world had long ago discovered Bill Holden. Now Bill was discovering the world. And wherever he went, he took his cameras.
He was a self-educated man. I think a lot of people at that time were. And it was very important for him to satisfy his curiosity about things. And traveling opened up an entire new dimension for him.
In 1955, at their California home, Bill and artists were interviewed for television's Person to Person.
I find that I'm terribly curious about the world and about the people in it. And I've had a wonderful opportunity to satisfy that curiosity by traveling both for the production of motion pictures and then, after they're finished, selling them.
Bill's father and mother always stay with the children when we take a trip like this. There was a long time, you know, when I just was content to stay home and take care of the children, but they're getting older now, and I think I have well, I want to travel with Bill, spend a little more time with him, you know.
I'm not too anxious to do what would be live dramatic shows. I've always felt that they were restricted. I've seen many shows where they would have two ferns hanging into the scenery on some stage, and that's supposed to be a jungle. I feel that through the medium of motion pictures, you can actually go to the jungle.
He traveled so much. He was always on location, whether it was within the United States or it was in Europe or in the Orient. And consequently, everything, it was always, he's coming home. He's going to be back home, and when he did come home, there was always gifts, and there was magic in the air.
By the middle 50s, William Holden had become one of Hollywood's most valued stars.
William Holden receives from Myron N. Black, president of the Theater Owners of America, the Star of the Year award at the organization's annual banquet. The award, made only twice previously, is given for outstanding service to the motion picture industry, the community, and the country at large. Responding, Mr. Holden predicts ever better entertainment and an adult public responding at the box office.
In the 1956 Picnic, location shooting took place in Lawrence, Kansas. Later, Bill Holden would take pride in this film. Making it, however, was not an easy experience.
I wanted to be older, and Bill wanted to be younger, because he felt so awkward and self-conscious about playing the part. He would say, I feel like such an idiot trying to be young again. In this movie, remember, it was still in the time of heavy censorship, so I'll never forget that Bill Holden and Cliff Robertson had to shave their chests in the scene in the men's bathroom, and Bill kept saying, what am I doing for a living? What a ridiculous way to make a living. He hated doing the dance sequence in Picnic. Well, everybody hated. I hated doing the dance sequence in Picnic. Bill was sure he couldn't dance. Kim Novak thought she couldn't dance.
And the result was history. It's probably one of the most provocative, sexy dance scenes with two people fully clothed that you'll ever see. He was very modest about his talent. I thought he was a wonderful actor, and I don't think he ever realized how good he really was.
Listen, baby. You're the only real thing I ever wanted. Ever. You're mine. I've got to claim what's mine, or I'll be nothing as long as I live. You love me. You know it. You love me. You love me.
I remember it was a blue town, Kansas, in the 50s, with hurricanes and tornadoes arriving every 3 minutes, so it was a kind of high-stress situation.
This particular evening, we were all up in Bill's room. He had my record player. He borrowed it and had it there and was playing some music, and virtually everybody was there. We were all having a kind of a little party.
Since he had the suite next door and there were a lot of goings on, I had glasses, literally. You know those old jokes about how, yes, I listened through the wall? I actually did that when I was 16.
This publicity man said something to Bill, I don't know what, and it irked Bill.
I actually ran next door because there was a lot of screaming coming from Bill's suite, and I didn't know what was going on. I thought something was wrong.
He jumped up and climbed out on the ledge of the window.
He was hanging out of whatever this was, the 10th story window of this hotel, with one hand.
He wasn't going to kill himself. He had no death wish or anything like that, but I guess he was just trying to let this fellow who was taunting him a little bit, let him know that he didn't know every move Bill Holden was going to make every minute.
I was told about all the daredevil adventuring he was doing, the risk-taking, standing on a ledge and that was 14 stories high, and, that kind of thing. It didn't surprise me, but it did occur to me that what Bill was seeking was to feel something. He was searching for whatever was promised him, and he didn't even know what that was. So where was the feeling? Where was the excitement? Where was the rush? The wonderful, wonderful feeling of life? It was as if, my gosh, it's eluding me.
It was 1957, and Bill Holden was at last a free agent. But Columbia's Harry Cohn managed to get him back to star in The Bridge on the River Kwai by offering a deal unequaled in Hollywood. An added attraction was the location. A country new to Bill, Ceylon.
Bridge on the River Kwai, if you go back and look at that performance again, it is absolutely flawless, which is something you can rarely say about an actor's performance. It is absolutely flawless. You never catch him acting, and every word he says sounds like the spoken truth.
You're going to leave me here.
You stop, we stop.
Well, go on without me. That's an order. You're in command now, Shears.
I won't obey that order. You make me sick with your heroics. There's a stench of death about you. You carry it in your pack like the plague. Explosives and L-pills, they go well together, don't they? And with you, it's just one thing or the other. Destroy a bridge or destroy yourself. This is just a game, this war. You and that Colonel Nicholson, you're two of a kind. Crazy with courage. For what? How to die like a gentleman. How to die by the rules. When the only important thing is how to live like a human being.
We usually found that when he was particularly happy with a scene or a story, it's usually because he could really relate to it. He could draw something out of his own experience and apply it to his character and probably pull it off with a lot more sincerity.
By 1960, when The World of Susie Wong was released, Bill Holden's collection of color slides had grown, and his fascination with new people and new places was stronger than ever.
If you want, I stay. I'll be your permanent girlfriend. Never go out with other boyfriends. Take good care of you.
Susie, you're very attractive, and I'm only human, but unfortunately, there's no provision for anyone like you in my budget.
With you, it's different. I feel something in heart. It's like pretending I'm a rich girl.
He became the quintessential American hero, humanized, brought down to some level where, let's say, unlike John Wayne, who was bigger than life, Bill wasn't. He was someone who I think we felt could have been in our home, our father, our lover, our involved with us, so that he took this kind of heroic quality and made it accessible.
Now, I keep asking myself, what would I have done if I had been she? Frightened child, hungry, alone? Would I steal to survive? Would I... Just how far would I go in order to keep on living?
When he'd come back to Hollywood after spending 6 or 7 months in these countries, and he would go to the parties and see the people, the directors, and the people that never really left here, who were the businessmen, and he was a little disappointed by the fact that no matter what the fact was on the other side in the countries he was dealing with, that Hollywood would still slap out an image of it just as they saw fit and wouldn't necessarily deal with reality. And that upset him to some degree. And I think he was very honest about that. That didn't necessarily make him very popular at times.
Hollywood was not Bill Holden's kind of town. Probably anywhere, everywhere USA was Bill Holden's kind of town, but not Hollywood. He didn't like the glitz. He didn't like the veneer. He liked to cut right through. When you talked to Bill, you talked to a guy who was looking straight in the eye. Didn't have a pair of dark glasses that you couldn't see his orbs. You knew who he was and how he felt about what he was talking about.
In 1959, Hollywood was taken by surprise when William Holden, the small-town boy from Pasadena, picked up his family and moved to Europe.
I think there were a number of considerations. First of all, when you get a taste of the world and you see that there's something else to the world than the United States, Hollywood, the American flag, and all these things, I think that you begin to realize that there are other lifestyles to be appreciated and lived elsewhere.
Although Bill had decided to live abroad, at heart he remained very much the American.
And I said, how do you like Switzerland, Bill? He said, well, it's kind of a problem. I said, why? He said, well, my kids are over here, and he said, one is now speaking 2 languages. She's bilingual. He said, the other one, I think, is going to eventually speak 3 languages. He'll be trilingual. I said, what's the problem? He said, I'm not even lingual.
After Bill Holden had settled